So Zombie World, not to be confused with Zombieland, although I think that was possibly a deliberate attempt to kind of confuse people and think you're watching some kind of Zombieland sequel. So Zombie World is a 2015 anthology film, for lack of a better word, and we've just watched it. What did you think of it?
I have actually no. I was going to say I have no words, but I have many. One was it bored me to tears. Yeah, it's if you've ever watched the ABCs of Death, it's kind of similar kind of concept to that, where it's lots of mini stories. You know, set in the one movie, but just so low budget. Effects were really bad. And just I've wanted to sleep at some points, really. There was the odd bit that I did like. So again, if you've seen Grindhouse, they do the odd little, you know, kind of trailers for certain movies and things, and they did do this, and actually that was the bit, you know, I thought that they did quite well. You know, they kind of had a humorous spin on it, and I quite like that. But other than that, please don't waste your time.
This is an interesting film in the fact that it's so bizarre in a lot of ways. So there's no story. There's absolutely no plot in this film. So if you're wanting something where you can sit down and watch a story, like most films, you literally won't get that here. There is only... the premise here is we're watching some kind of news station, and it's kind of hosted by this kind of guy who's basically reporting throughout the zombie apocalypse, and you know, he's got these sort of different segments between all the kind of and it's not even an anthology because it's more a skit. They're more sort of like little sketches, and basically all of the sketches are just like zombie attacks with the barest minimum of kind of story. I mean, there's nothing. It's just people like running away from zombies, and because there's no sort of build up or anything, there's no story in it. It is just people watching people getting attacked by zombies, and that's literally it. Now this has got a variety of different directors, and so there's different kind of styles as the sort of I guess this film progresses. There's a couple of kind of original ideas here. There's two that are kind of in first person sort of mode, which I guess, you know, again, it's kind of interesting. But the actual story is nothing. There's no story.
I guess each skit has its own theme.
Yeah,
that's what it is, isn't it?
But I guess the majority of them are kind of played for laughs. There's not a serious tone. I mean, if you had to pick some standout ones, I guess one near the beginning, which basically is probably heavily influenced by the early work of Peter Jackson. If you've seen like Bad Taste and things like that, which is basically a kind of it's meant to take place in Jerusalem. With like Jesus and stuff, but they speak in Spanish, and essentially it's got Jesus kind of resurrecting someone and then them turning into a zombie, and you know, causing this kind of zombie outbreak. I actually thought that bit was quite fun, I have to say, because it's so ridiculous. I mean, he's never in the world would I thought I would say you'll see a film where you've got you've got Jesus fighting cowboy zombies with fish. But that happens, so you know, if that's ever, you know, an itch you want scratched, you can get it right here. So the effects, whilst low budget, they're kind of so OTT and over the top. I guess the other one, I mentioned two more sort of skits. The one sort of towards the end, basically, which is where this weird guy ends up going to the kind of the beach, and these sort of almost like they look more like demons than zombies come out of the water. Again, there's no real story here, but some of this sort of the effects and camera work again were kind of OTT and kind of fun. Lots of like, I mean, there's loads of splatter here, but the one I suppose I kind of actually liked the best didn't actually have any zombies in it, and there's this mailman that kind of comes around and is more of a that's the only one with actually any remotely any story in it. But even that is pretty slight. But that was kind of clever in a way. But it's, you know, if you're wanting a traditional zombie story, don't go in this. If you just want some sort of weird experimental, and if you like gooey effects, then there's plenty of this to go along. But it's kind of boring because all you're watching is zombie attack after zombie attack and after zombie attack, and although that might sound fun to a certain degree, it's a lot of it is kind of shoddily made, obviously very, very low budget, and so it kind of doesn't really sort of grab you. You know, anything else you want to say about this one then?
Don't watch it.
I think you liked it worse than me, and I didn't like it. There was a couple of I saw a couple of redeeming features, and that was it. What did you give it out of 10 then?
1, 2.
2. I'll give it 3 out of 10, and that's only because I think some people may enjoy some of the effects, and there were a couple of okay segments, but the majority of them are pretty forgettable. So 3 out of 10 for me, 2 out of 10 for her. What did you think of it? If you've seen it, leave us a comment, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.